What's up, everybody? So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you Money Programming Part 2, how to become the person who can make and hold more money and wealth for the rest of your life. I'm very excited about this video, and so if you have not watched Part 1, please check it out first. I think those are the fundamentals, foundations about money. And so these are some things we cover, so please check it out. The link should be somewhere in the description. If you have not, you can just check it out in school, because that video is just the precursor for the things over here. So if you're ready, we're going to cover these 4 things today: your money pattern and standards, your money nervous system, how your money is a reflection of you, and the last thing is how to solve all of your money problems ASAP. Okay, so the first thing we talk about is thinking about the idea of your head, right? Which is your patterns on a regular daily basis determine your financial destiny. And what are patterns, right? Which is the things that you think or you do every single day in a habitual manner, or as a response to anything that happens, sometimes unconsciously or sometimes even without thinking as well. So those are your key patterns of your life. So one key quote you have to remember is that what you're not changing, you're choosing. So I repeat that again. What you're not changing in your life, you are choosing. And if you think about money, it could be in terms of your money habits, right? And we're going to go a bit deeper on this. So when it comes to money, you're going to ask yourself this first key question first, which is, what emotions do you feel the most often when it comes to money? And the emotions that you feel the most often is usually a byproduct of your patterns, right? Because your patterns are not just what you do, it could be what you think and how you feel as well. So what are some emotions do you feel the most often when it comes to money? Another question to ask yourself is, what are some problems do you keep solving over and over again when it comes to money? So for example, we talked about in part 1, if you realize that your bank account, no matter how much you do, seems to be always at the same number over and over again, right? And your problem is always you're trying to solve it, then that is the problem you're always trying to solve, which is somehow your money seems to be in the same numbers or same range over and over again, which means that your money pattern of that needs to be solved ASAP. Or number 3 is, what is the excuse do you catch yourself justifying the most when it comes to money? So what excuses, right, that seems to always explain nicely the problems that you feel over and over again. So all of this are what I call creating awareness about the patterns when it comes to money. Is it sometimes having problems, right, to pay off your tax bills or your bills in the first place? If you're doing business, right, are the usual reasons why you're not making enough money the same over and over again? Is it not inviting enough one-to-one calls? Is it not creating enough content? Is it your conversions are not good? So again, not just in terms of financial loan, but anything that could relate directly to money. So when we are 9 to 5, what are some reasons why you might not promote, right? Or why you might not hit KPIs over and over again? Is it just because you always you're afraid to say no to people? Is it because you are afraid to create content? Is it because people always say no to your offers and you don't do a downsell? Again, there could be many problems or many emotions or even the same old excuses. So for example, for me, one of the excuses that I have to make for a long time, even right now, unconsciously, is still, I would say, still taking a lot of dominance in my mind, which is I always think about reinvesting in sales delivery, right? Reinvesting my stuff, my time, my effort, my money in delivery and less on sales and marketing. Because why? I'm very passionate about client success and delivery, but sometimes the problem is that I always fail or I always miss out the part on sales and marketing, right? Activities, growth, which is a big struggle for me, all right, at one point of time. So again, now pause this video if you have to just start thinking about what are some problems, some emotions or some excuses you catch yourself having over and over again when it comes to money or anything, your vehicle that relates to money as well. It could be investing, trading, your career, your business, so on and so forth. So another quick thing is, what about affirmations and motivational quotes? So one thing I realized is a lot of people like to share, repost, share in stories about quotes, right? Like, work hard, we're going to focus, you're going to take action. But I think one thing you want to remember is that even if you understand something, even if you know something, even though you agree with something, it's another thing to actually live it. So for example, we all can say that it's important to work hard, but how many of us actually work hard when it comes to money? So again, or when it comes to any other area of our life. So one thing to note is that even you might write affirmation quotes, the big question is not about do you know the quote or do you understand the quote or do you remember the quote. I think the bigger question is, are you actually living the quote? So for example, all of this sounds very generic and vague, but even right now today I can ask myself, have I really used all of this? Right? Am I really thinking big right now? Even though I know the importance of thinking big. maybe I fell off, right? Again, so again, it's not to feel guilty or feel bad, but just to always ask yourself, what are the key missing areas in your life where you actually understand the importance or understand the code, but actually not practicing it in your everyday life as well. So another key reminder is every pattern and standard you protect right now. So if you have done this exercise right now and you know some of these problems, emotions, excuses that happens over and over again in your any area of your life, right? But in this case about money, these are standards you've been protecting, right? These are the standards you're protecting, which creates a future for you. So if you're not excited or you're not satisfied with the kind of future you seem to be moving towards, then it's time to make a change. Is it going to be uncomfortable? 100%, but we're going to start with there first. So this is what we call the money loops. And a lot of people always think about what to do, right? They always think about what's the behavior that will give me my outcome. But I think what people don't realize is that many of our unconscious struggles or challenges or failures when it comes to money and other areas of our lives always starts with our beliefs first. So everything here that you struggle with there's usually some form of belief that is a problem, and you want to go dig deep, whether is it through MIGBT, which you already have, whether is it talking to the coach, talking to myself, right, or even just doing self-reflection as well. So again, it always starts with some level of belief. So for example, my fixed excuse, right, of not doing sales and marketing activities and only doing client success and delivery, my belief is that if I focus on sales and marketing, it means that I'm not being authentic because I rather grow my money than helping other people. And it sounds like a weird belief to have, but it was really what I realized the driving force behind my aversion to sales and marketing activities. And logically, I know that sales and marketing is important, right? It grows my business. It's a moral obligation. If I don't grow my business, I will die. But the belief is still so deep rooted, which is that I rather focus on client success and delivery because I think that's what being the most ethical entrepreneur means. So you want to be very mindful of those beliefs so you can address them. And this really takes some time to sit down, to reflect or to talk to someone, because a lot of times you won't really know the belief unless somebody else points that out to you. Because why? Then the belief usually that's caused by some previous experience in the past. So in my case was because I saw a lot of people who were great at sales and marketing, but their client success and delivery was pretty bad, and they got a lot of complaints. People weren't happy with them. I didn't really like that for myself. So the more I experienced that, the more I saw people complaining about all these like famous people that maybe didn't do so in client success and delivery, it reinforces my belief that I need to be someone who was hyper focused on client success, to a point where on some level I actually neglected sales and marketing. So beliefs, behavior, and then the actual outcome. So right now, the behavior could be as simple as dedicating at least 2 hours per day on sales and marketing, or 1 hour a day, or 10 hours a week. Again, the behavior is not as important because it's all tactics and there are many millions of ways to achieve an outcome. But I think right now the problem with most people is their beliefs are not right in the first place. So with that said, based on whatever problems, excuses, emotions that you tend to feel earlier, you can start going a bit deeper questions. What are some of the beliefs driving my behaviors or my recurring problems, and is it still serving me today? So you're going to ask yourself, really, is it still serving me? And then, once you're aware, you can ask yourself, what would a higher version of me believe instead? So you can either come up yourself, talk to MIGBT, or of course you can talk to myself, right, in the program and community. So what would a higher version of me believe instead? And then, have a strong belief, hopefully in 1-2 clear sentences. Don't go overboard with it, because then it becomes messy and you don't remember it. And then the next thing is embodiment. If I already believe this new thing, what will I do next? So again, I know it takes sometimes to install a belief because that takes a bit of time. But if you already believe the new thing, what would be a very logical next course of action? What would be a great action that someone who believes this would already do? And start doing it even before you start internalizing the belief 100% of the time. Okay, so and to go deeper is that right now we talk a bit about nervous system, which is your nervous system determines your wallet size, right, among the money that you have. So one thing to remember is you can only hold the level of wealth and abundance that feels safe to your nervous system. And I know this segment, not everybody might agree or they might not relate, but what I've realized is that a lot of people, why they're always stuck at a certain amount of money, is because unconsciously they feel actually slightly afraid or fearful, and sometimes very unconscious, to make more money. So I say again, sometimes the problem why we are stuck in a certain financial level is because unconsciously somewhere inside us in our nervous system, we feel fearful, we feel that we don't deserve the money, we're afraid of what will happen if we have more money, the things you have to do to get the money. So I think this is what we call, you can only hold a level of wealth and abundance that feels safe to your nervous system. So nervous system, at the end of the day, is a bit like your survival brain, right? It's just primed to make you survive, not to thrive. And from there, it will determine a lot of your unconscious and conscious decisions sometimes, which will then allow you to make the money that you want. So for example, for me, a very key struggle I had is I was afraid that if I made multiple 7 figures, my client success would be like shit. Right? So again, that was one thing about nervous system that made me afraid. So right now, while I'm still addressing and working on that as we grow and make more money and grow my business, I am very aware that this is something that is making my nervous system feels a bit uncomfortable to make more money. So I think the big question is, what do you think will happen? What are you afraid might happen, or what are you afraid that you have to do if you really want to make 7 figures, right? Or multiple 6 figures, depending on how much you want to make. What are some things you feel maybe uncomfortable, you're not too sure, afraid? So some people, they're afraid of putting themselves out there. They can write 1 piece of content per week, but for them to have 50 pieces of content per day, because that is what's required to succeed. Can you do it, right? Some of them might, maybe right now you have 50 clients and you know that to make $500,000 per year, you need to have 500 clients. But then unconsciously, you're like, shit, I do not know what to do when I have 500 clients. And then your nervous system needs to feel safe, and that's why playing small. So again, you want to get very clear about what are some of the fears or concerns so that you can talk through it, reflect on it as well. So just be very mindful of what we call your nervous system when it comes to making more money. So another good question asked is, when money comes in or leaves, what does my body do? So just be very aware moving forward as you move on with your journey. When your money comes in or leaves, what does my body do? So right now, one thing that I realize every time money comes in, my unconscious belief is like, it's only temporary. Right? What if people leave my program? So again, these are all unconscious. Again, you want to address it as you go along so that you can understand what's the root cause of some of the parts of your nervous system so that you can address it, or even your beliefs and emotions as you talked about earlier as well. Okay, so to go a little deeper, number 1, what am I feeling, right, when it comes to money, especially if I know that if I want to make $500,000 per year, for example, what am I feeling that could be making me uncomfortable, and what's the story I'm telling about it? What would help my body feel safer right now? So one thing I always like to remind people is you don't need everything to be figured out for you to move forward. So I say, hey, yes, right now I don't understand how to serve 500 clients effectively, as well as if I had 50 clients, but I trust myself that I would do it. I trust myself to learn. I trust myself because I have a good heart that I would do it whatever it takes to figure it out. So I just remind myself about that, which makes my body feel better, for example. And then repatterning is what's one small way I can respond differently than I usually do. Okay, which is if I've right now, okay, what's one thing I can do to increase the likelihood, right, of client success results? Is it an onboarding form? Is it a one-to-one call? Is it a preparing for emergency call in case someone is drowning, for example? Again, those are just examples. What's one small way I can respond differently I usually do? So for example, another example could be you might actually be afraid of seeing, let's say if you're very used to $5,000, right, in your bank account, all the way to you're actually very afraid if one day you see $1 million in your bank account. Because why? Again, it might feel good for a while, but then you start having the concern of like, how do I invest it? How do I allocate it? What do I do with it? Who do I tell? Okay, so what my body feels safer right now, sometimes as going to part 1, which is setting a money intention, being very clear about what you would do when you have those amounts of money. And what's one small way I can respond differently than I usually do, which is right now, write down exactly how you reward yourself if you make the money, right? Or how will you protect yourself if you had a $1 million in your bank account right now? So again, there are many ways. Again, this goes a bit nuanced and it's very different, personalized for each person. I'm trying to simplify in a way that makes sense for everybody. But if you have any questions, let me know in the chat, in the group, or one-to-ones if you are in our program as well. Okay, so the third one is hence, which is who you're embodying is your gateway to health. So embodying not just doing the action, right? It's your entire being, right, when you're taking action in the first place. And so one thing to know is you do not grow by thinking about growing your money, as much as I talk about money programming to make lots of money. You don't grow by thinking, you grow by becoming the version of you who can handle it. So I think there's a very big reminder, which is at the end of the day, the universe or God, whoever you can call it, right, will give you the amount of money based on what they feel that you can handle. And again, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I think that's such a powerful belief, right? Because I realized that whatever amount of market money I'm making right now is because I am the version of can handle it. And if I want to make more money, I need to be a different version of myself. So right now, I'm trying to expand myself from a 20 to 50K mindset person to a 100K mindset per month person. And so again, you grow by becoming a version of you who can handle it. So, and this is how you do it. There are 3 levels of decisions at the end of the day. You want to think through it when it comes to any area of life. It could come from reactive. That means you only take action based on what's happening right now from a situational point of view. So that's being very reactive. It could be strategic. So strategic is when you have actual direction, right? A strategy, there's outcome, there's objective, there's the best practices to get there. And a lot of people would focus, if you're here, you're probably going to focus a lot of the strategic stuff. And probably you're very tired of reacting all the time, right? And it's not that reacting is not important. You do need to react sometimes when things hit the fan, right? Shit hits the fan, but of course not sustainable. So a lot of us go to strategic, which is we want to have a clear plan, we want to have best practices, the best outcome possible strategic. But what a lot of people miss out is you sometimes want to adapt to what I call having creative level of decisions as well. But some of your best money, business, career decisions might not come from being the most strategic or reactive, but comes from being the most creative, even if sometimes it does not make sense. So I say again, sometimes your best decisions come from a creative angle, even if they don't make sense all the time. Even they are not the most strategic stuff, but if your gut, your heart, you do believe that it's going to be important, that's when you're going to make the most creative actions as well. Okay? So, another quick advice, right? Another quick experience that I have is that the way I finally stopped having money problems is to stop thinking of them as problems. So I know it sounds weird. Let me repeat that again. The way I finally stopped having money problems is when I stopped thinking of them as problems, but I thought of them as opportunities. You will always have money problems in life. The question is not about these problems, right? Because those are there. The question is, do you evolve yourself so that you can handle it? The question is, do you trust yourself to handle the uncertainty, the discomfort, to handle all of them no matter what? So again, the problem is not having the problem. The problem is your relationship with the problems, right? Do you avoid and procrastinate it? Many of people that I know have money problems, the same money problems, the same money pattern, the same limiting money beliefs, sometimes to decades of their lives. Yes, it could be conditioning, right? From our parents, society, teachers, friends, whoever. But the problem is not having the problem. The problem is how you handle it. So the question is, do you evolve yourself? So for me, the reason why I never have any money problems anymore, because I treat all of my money problems as freaking opportunities for me to grow, as opportunities for me to evolve to higher versions of myself to handle. So all of the things here sounds amazing, and sometimes it might sound uncomfortable, but the question is not whether you have heard it. The question is, have you applied it? Have you paused the video to listen and reflect on some of the activities? Do you ask for help? Do you ask for feedback? Do you reflect on it? Do you sit down and reflect on it? Do you ask MIGBT for it? So again, the problem is not the problem. The problem, right, or the issue is, what do you do with the problems? Do you avoid and procrastinate for the rest of your life and just start consuming more content without actually thinking about it yourself? Or do you actually evolve yourself? Do you actually evolve and upgrade the high level version of yourself so that you can handle it no matter what? So I think that's the biggest thing you can ask yourself from this entire video. So there's a lot of awareness-based questions, but the question is, at the end of the day, what do you do about it? Okay, so recap about it. Number one, your patterns, right? Your habits, your emotions, your problems, your beliefs, right? Determine your financial destiny. Number two, your nervous system determines your wallet size. So your money will grow only to a point where you feel safe, and you don't feel safe enough for the money or the activities to make the money. You might unconsciously self-sabotage or do the things to prevent yourself from making more money. Who you embody is your biggest gateway to health. What you do, that will be the biggest, right? What are your activities, what are your practical stuff. So again, we can talk about a lot of awareness, but what you do, right, is a gateway to health. And the way to think about money problems is to not see them as problems, but opportunities to evolve yourself, right? To never have a money problem and to upgrade your level of wealth and abundance moving forward. Okay, so does this video, is it a magic pill where you watch this video and you will magically solve all of your stuff in life? Probably not, but the mindsets here has been what helped me, my clients, even my mentors and coaches who have learned all of this from, to solve a lot of our money issues and to handle them with grace, handle them with intention, handle them with creativity, and that's how I would want my journey to create wealth. But again, as I talk about money program part 1, there are millions of ways to make more money. The question is in what way you want to make money. For me, I want to do it in an effortless way, in an aligned way, in an ethical way, in a simple manner, in a manner where it's aligned to me, it's enjoyable as well. So these are the sound experiences that have worked the best for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you very soon. But before that, forgot about this, just some final action points, right? Reflecting on recurring money patterns. What the beliefs have been driving you? Where do those beliefs come from? Have they been truly serving you? And what new beliefs, decision standards can you set to evolve your money patterns today? Right, with that, have a great day ahead, and I'll see all of you very soon. Bye.